Hey there, nerds. Jimmy Palmquist here, and I just want to talk a little bit about the untitled Han Solo anthology film in the Star Wars franchise. Obviously, we've heard that Phil Lord and Christopher Miller are no longer on the project. That happened about 2 days ago, and we have now heard that Ron Howard will be jumping in to replace them. Now, this is a unique situation. They were very far along in the process. They were closer to being done filming than they were to starting filming, which is a very odd scenario. But from what we're hearing, I think this was a good decision. I want to start with Kathleen Kennedy, head of Lucasfilm. She obviously has a fantastic track record, and if anybody knows how to steer this ship, it's going to be her. I would even argue that she is a better captain of this franchise than George Lucas himself. I just think George Lucas, although I love him, I think he's amazing. He's one of my heroes, icons. I think he got too close to it, and he didn't care what other people thought. I think Kathleen Kennedy, with the 2 films that have come out so far under the Disney banner, meaning not with George Lucas, have been fantastic. Yes, there are detractors. Yes, there are negatives in the film, but both of them have taken the franchise in a great direction, so I'm excited. With this one, the only knock I have against her, I don't know why she hired these 2 in the first place. Coming off of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, 21 Jump Street, the Lego Movie, 22 Jump Street, all goofy movies. So when it was announced that they were going to be taking this on, it was, okay, I have a faith in the process because so far, their decisions have made sense. Even the firing of Josh Trank totally made sense, worked out. But then we get to this. So kudos for making a decision that's probably unpopular, especially in the fact that it sort of shows a sign of what were you thinking. But at the same time, from what we're hearing, specifically the actor playing Han Solo, Alden, went to producers and said, look, this doesn't feel like Han Solo. This feels like Jim Carrey playing Han Solo, meaning we're getting more comedy, more goofiness, and that's not Han Solo. And kudos to that actor for stepping up, because I am excited at the cast that they have brought together to this film. I don't want to see it messed up. So, their firing brings in Ron Howard. I am now tremendously excited to see what Ron Howard does. Not entirely sure at this point if it's going to almost be a complete reshoot or if they're just going to finish the film so far. There are a couple examples in the history of filmdom, specifically Back to the Future is one, where that time they replaced an actor and they went back and reshot things. They weren't as far along as they were this time, but they basically reshot the film. The Exorcist, I think it was Exorcist at the beginning. The film was done in the can, studio hated it, they went back and reshot the whole thing. Odd. David Fincher on Alien 3 talks about how he shot a movie, but the studio cut it up and made a different movie. Alright. Superman 1 and 2. Richard Donner made essentially one very long Superman movie that was going to be a Superman 1 and a Superman 2. He got fired after Superman 2 had been shot. They went back and shot it again, using some of the footage that he had had. FYI, if you've ever seen the Superman 2 Richard Donner cut, it's pretty good. So in this instance, not entirely sure what they're going to do. I personally hope Ron Howard shoots the whole film and they kind of start from scratch. The only thing that'll mess up is the schedule. But at this point, Disney's had no problem, meaning Lucasfilm has had no problem pushing back release schedules. Now, they want one a year, and they can still accomplish that, but they would have to push it back to December again, but that's where they're releasing them now. What you may not know about Ron Howard, which I love because I'm a huge George Lucas fan, as I said, Ron Howard is sort of a protege, acolyte of George Lucas. They started working. Now, Ron Howard's been in the industry forever as an actor, and he first met George Lucas as an actor on the set of American Graffiti. And Ron Howard himself has said that he just learned so much from learned so much from George Lucas on that film, and how to be a director, what to do as a director, how to act, how to interact with the actors. And he took that moving forward as he became a director and moved out of acting. So much so that he directed the movie Willow, which was executive produced by George Lucas. I think it's a highly underrated movie. Hope you guys go out and see it. If you have not seen it, Willow. So I'm excited to see Ron Howard take the reins of a George Lucas creation, i.e. Star Wars. He had the chance once before with Episode 1. George Lucas offered him the opportunity to direct it. He turned it down, as several other friends of George Lucas did, Steven Spielberg, Robert Zemeckis. And it makes complete sense at the time, because you're coming off of 3 of the greatest movies in film history. I'm not saying they were all the best quality movies. I'm saying the anticipation of a new Star Wars movie was so high that nobody wanted to take it on. It was a daunting task. Nobody wanted it. So it fell into George's lap to direct. And George is not a great director. He knows that, but he couldn't get anybody that would carry out his vision as well as he could. So he ended up doing it himself. So for Ron Howard to come back to the franchise that he was once offered, I am excited to see this potential. I think Kathleen Kennedy made a great decision. Now, all that being said, I don't think the directors have a huge role in these films. Bear with me here. I think they're a mechanism, a cog in the machine that is Lucasfilm. I think since Disney bought them out, they have seen their best move is to have a team, specifically a great executive team, steering the ship to make the movies they want. And I think the first time we saw this was Rogue One. Gareth made a great film, but it needed punching. It needed to get a little bit better to be a great Star Wars film. Brought in Tony Gilroy, punched up the script, did some reshoots, altered it a little bit, and we got a fantastic film. And it was a real team effort. Kudos to Gareth Edwards for understanding that, and I have not heard one negative thing about the process from him. It's all been positive. I think that it sort of reached that level with this film, and I think Phil Lord and Christopher Miller left. They didn't want to make the film that Lucasfilm wanted them to make, so they left. Again, I go back to I don't know why they're hired in the first place, but so I really think that this next film has a lot of potential to be good. I do believe it's a team effort, and I think Ron Howard was brought on board to be that senior team leader. And another thing I like with this casting is, of the new films, this will be the first time, and I understand, there's basically 3 in the can. We haven't seen episode 8 yet, but there's basically 3 films already made. But this will be the first one where we don't have a fanboy, so to say, directing the movie. This is a guy who sort of bridges that generation from George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, Francis Ford Coppola, to the J.J. Abrams, Gareth Edwards, Rian Johnsons. So I'm excited to see what he can do. I think he's definitely been brought in to be that senior leadership, to right the ship, and seeing what Donald Glover, Woody Harrelson, I want to see this film, and I just hope it's good. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Phil Lord, Christopher Miller, off of Star Wars, Ron Howard, now in. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.